Good evening, you lovely, lovely people. It's just you, me, some insects, and the rain pitter-pattering on my roof. Do apologise for the pitter-pattering on my roof. Me, personally, I find it quite relaxing. Nevertheless, we're going to talk about what the title in the thumbnail is, which is, how, and me included, we mock the West, or we talk down the West, but, in actual fact, it's the West that keeps us here financially. Now, many of us who come to the Philippines are relying on pensions. Me, no, because I don't get my pension yet. But I know a heavy percentage of people who do come to the Philippines rely on that state pension. Now, yes, as meagre as it is in the in the UK, which is a meagre state pension, it still enables us to stay here and live a comfortable life. But many will argue that because of the meagre pension that it is, it's pushing us out of the UK or the West or wherever you are. Now I know, in America, it may not kind of affect in the same way, because the Americans have a big pension, and quite right too. I'm happy for you guys, really I am. There's no jealousy at all. I'm really pleased for you. But in the UK, the state pension is absolutely hideous. It really is. I think it would probably work out, I don't know, 75,000-80,000 pesos a month here, the equivalent of, which again would give people a good living here. So many of you would say we had to leave the West because of financial reasons. Because don't forget, more people than more people have less savings. More people have no savings than people who do have savings, okay? And it's not because, or perhaps it's not because we haven't planned our retirement. It could be as simple as we never had the job that give us the financial capacity to be able to save money, or we only saved a little bit of money. So that aside, look at the good points, okay? The good points is the state pension of the UK makes us, in a Filipino's eyes, rich people, right? Now I know we don't look at it like that, and we say, the UK's this, the UK's that. I know I do. But at the end of the day, we are very lucky to have been born in the West. And we are, because me personally, and I'm sure you have as well, or many of you, have bought things in the past that many Filipinos can only dream of. And I've had, when I used to earn a lot of money on the internet, I had, BMW M3, I had Audis, and I've had really, really good cars, and not all cars, they were good, relatively new car. The BMW M3 was second hand, but it was only a couple of years old. Brilliant car. So I wouldn't have been able to afford to do that, or even driven one, if I was here in the Philippines, born in the Philippines. So I do appreciate me being born in the West, okay? So let's get that out of the way, right? But think of the opportunity, right? Don't see the dark side of it. Look at the bright side, which is the people who have made that step of getting out of the West and coming here, or Thailand, anywhere where your money is worth more. Would we have done that if you had more money, or things were not so quite expensive in the country where you've come from? Now, me personally, I'm only speaking for myself here, I would still have left, because I didn't leave the UK through financial reason. I left the UK because I was just simply pissed off with it. And that's the God's honest truth, people. I was just sick of it. And I was sick of the mundane life that I was leading. I was sick of Groundhog Day. I was sick of wasting away. But I understand many of you do leave the West because of financial difficulties. So we've got to thank the West in a way for, especially if you've had a success story where you have actually come to a foreign country and made a go of it and made a success of it. Because if that was the reason why you left the West, because you couldn't financially make ends meet, it's pushed you out of it and you've made a new life, a successful life, somewhere else, which ordinarily you would not have done. So you've got to thank the West for that. I personally think, it's just my trail of thought, people, it's just what I'm thinking. When we do leave the West, we blame it. We blame it. Now, we can sit here and slag it off till the cows come home about how Britain's lost its identity, how it's going to be an Islamic state, perhaps. I don't know. It's just my thinking in the future. According to Nigel Farage, it will be, and many others agree on that. And they're on about this Islamophobia and all that malarkey. Well, listen, I don't follow the news intensively from the UK. I don't, because I don't live there. Okay, yes, I'm British and that's my country of origin, my birthplace. But what's the point in me getting mixed up with things that happen in the UK when it's of no concern to me anymore? I don't live there. I live here. I'm a resident here. But I hear many foreigners, vloggers even, complaining about this, that, of the West. Well, listen, my advice is, you aren't there anymore. Unless it pushed you out and you aren't happy where you are in a foreign country, then I can understand it. But if you have been pushed out and you've made a success of your life, your retirement in another country, then you should be grateful of the shitty place that perhaps you come from, because it was that what pushed you out in the first place, and now you've made a good life somewhere else. Could we have a good life in the UK if we had more money? I think money makes things easier. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, money makes things easier. But would it change circumstances? And I mean circumstances that are totally out of your control, like England and the illegals. And where I lived in Hastings, you might already know this if you are from the UK, but they have just stuck a load of illegal immigrants in a place called Crowborough, an ex-army training place. And Crowborough is a beautiful place. It's in the countryside. It's absolutely beautiful. And you know what's going to happen. There are going to be, and I'm not saying this in a detrimental way towards these illegals, but judging and seeing what's happening with these illegals and where they are being placed, crime rate goes up. Okay? And I wouldn't be happy, especially if I was a resident of Crowborough. Here, you don't really get that. And the reason being is the government don't give any handouts. They simply don't give any handouts to people. It's the indigenous poor people, they get handouts, but if you as an immigrant here, like me, I'm not illegal, I'm legal. But let's just say I fell on hard times. I couldn't go to the government and say, look, I'm on hard times, I've got no food on the table. They'd say, well, yeah, so what? Go back to your own country. And fair enough. So I look at this in two different ways. I look at it as, yes, the meagre pension, state pension, this does not, if you have the private pensions and you did well in your investment, stock, shares, bonds, commodities and all that kind of stuff, this video is not really for you, I don't think. Unless you moved out because you simply didn't like it, like I did. As I said, I left not for financial reasons, because I was on good salaries. I left because I didn't want to be there no more. But if you look at it in the way of, in England, it pushed me out because I couldn't afford to live there. Like I said, if you've made a success in the country that you ended up in, it doesn't matter. You've got to thank the place. You've got to think, yes, England, thank you very much for making it unaffordable for me to live, that I had to leave the country, and I've made a life for myself somewhere else. We can mock it as much as we want. We can mock our home countries as much as we like, but it still doesn't, make it any better for us, does it? Because we don't live there no more. It might get something off your chest, but at the end of the day, like I said, I don't follow news. I really don't, because the news I follow about the UK, it doesn't affect me anymore. The only thing that possibly would affect me is because I've been out of the UK for a long time, and if I went back to the UK and I wanted to use the National Health Service, I think I have to be there for a year before I can actually use it again, which is fair enough. You know, can't have your cake and eat it, can you? And I've heard as well that if you have your, it's going to start happening. If you have your pension paid into a bank account in a foreign country, because you're living out here, you're still going to have to pay taxes on your pension. That's what I read somewhere. Can't think where it was, but it was a credible source anyway. I don't know how true that is. I mean, I don't get a pension yet. I don't get a pension for another years and years yet. For another 9 years? Is it 9 years? Yeah, no, 7 years. Is it? No. What is the state pension age? Is it 66 or 67 in the UK? Well, I'm 58. So I've got 9 years if it's 67, and 8 years if it's 66. And by that time it's going to be worthless anyway. But I'll take it, because I did work in the UK and I did pay taxes. So what's the point in going on about it? It's sustaining your life here. It is. It's sustaining your life here. It might not be a brilliant life here, because if you 75 or 80,000 pesos, if you are living life to the extreme, that's going to go nowhere. It's not really. I would be honest, it's going to go nowhere. But if you live frugally, not being a miser and not going short of food, you have 3 meals a day, you can go to restaurants and all that. But if you go and just go mad, then you will get through that money. Like I said, your rent will probably be your biggest expenditure, your biggest payment per month. Aircon perhaps as well. I don't know. I don't use aircon. I don't need it because we've got high ceilings and a very high roof, so it doesn't really get hot here where we need it. But let's face it, if you used to get 75 or 80,000 pesos, the Filipinos think you are very, 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 very wealthy. And if you used to live like a Filipino, you probably would be very, 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 very wealthy. But because we don't, I don't, I can't eat Filipino food all the time, for an example. I can't live a Filipino life where I'm eating rice 3 or 4 times a day. I can't do that. But even so, I would find it pretty hard pushed to get through 80,000 pesos a month. And I've got a family, I've got a wife and a son. Granted, we've got no rent to pay because we've got our own house, but I would find it pretty hard pushed. I could do it, we all could do it, but I don't see the need. I don't see the need. So, people, be grateful for the UK or wherever you've come from that's pushed you out of that country because you couldn't afford to live there, if you have a successful life in the country that you've moved to. And let's face it, I'm in a place where everything is new, even after 8 years, almost 9 years. I can't remember I think I came in 2017, so there you go. Bloody hell, it's 9 years, isn't it? It was May 2017. That's when I come. Or was it 2018? I don't know. It's irrelevant. I've been here a long time. And I'm still finding things exciting here. I do, really. And people say, well, how can you live in a place like that when you've come from a country where you can drink water from a tap? And you can't. England, you can drink it straight off the tap if you want to. You won't die. You drink water from the tap here, I tell you what, you will get the screaming abdabs very, very, very quick, and you will be a shadow of the person you used to be, because all of your bodily fluids will just be drained out of that hole. Honestly, people, probably both, that one and this one. So you will just be like a shadow of a man or a woman. And the infrastructure in England where I lived was great. I can't ever remember a blackout. I don't think we ever had a blackout. Or if we did, it was because something blew up, and it was something very major. Internet was always brilliant, and cheaper. I remember paying for my internet in the UK, and it was O2, and they use a slot of BT, but I used O2, and I think it was very cheap. I think 30 quid a month, unlimited, and it was always super quick. You know, you can go to the supermarkets and get all your stuff, and I found, really people, I found it cheaper shopping in the UK when I was there for my bits, you know, for my ordinary English bits, if you like, food, cheaper than here, because obviously here it's imported, isn't it, so you pay more here. So I actually spend more money on shopping here than I did back in the UK. But that's neither here nor there, you know, and I do apologise for this rain. It is getting a bit heavier, so I'm going to go soon, because you're probably thinking it's like hailstones on his roof. It's not, it's not raining that much, but it's my next door neighbour's roof. It's not so much my roof, it's my next door neighbour's roof. He's got like a metal roof, so have I, but mine is higher up and I've got ceilings, and his roof is just there outside, so you can hear it, I can hear it. I find it quite relaxing. I do, honestly. You might find it fucking irritating. I can imagine you thinking, fucking hell, that's irritating the life out of me, but for me it doesn't bother me. So just have that, you just bear that in mind, people, you know. Yes, the fucking UK pushed me out because I was only on a state pension, but you've made a success somewhere else and you've got a lovely family. If you are living in the UK, then you've got all the right in the world to complain about you know, your state of affairs, because I know by some friends that even people who work in England struggle. They struggle to make ends meet. Here I never struggle to make ends meet, never. I don't think I ever will, touch wood, but I live a better life here than I ever would back in the UK, and that's the God's honest truth, people. That's the God's honest truth. And many of you might say yes, but you're dropping your standards. No, I'm not. I'm not dropping my standards. The only thing that changes for me here is the infrastructure's a little bit iffy, a little bit dodgy, you know. Yesterday I had a blackout for, I don't know, 8 hours. It was unscheduled because the wind blew a post over. Well, you had a little bit of a wind for about 10 minutes, no internet, no electricity. And I later found out that all of the workers from Zanico were in Pinion proper in the town there, and they were all working very hard in the piss and rain, putting up a new post and, you know, putting the wires back on the post and reconnecting everybody. Look, it is what it is. It is what it is as far as I'm concerned. We live in the kind of country like we live in. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that I can't drink off the tap. I buy bottled water, you know, the distilled water, whatever it is, the 10 litres. And it's okay. I never eat street food. I don't. I will be honest with you. I never eat it. I've had some bad experiences on that, which I probably wouldn't get in the UK, eating the street food. What do I miss about the UK? Doner kebab. I miss doner kebab, shish kebab, kofte kebab, chicken kebab. Can't get it here because there is no Turkish shops where I live, no Turkish restaurants. There are in the bigger cities, but I'm not in a big city. But there we go, people. Don't complain about your meagre pension when you've made a success in a foreign country. Ordinarily, you wouldn't have done. You get a bigger pension because you wouldn't have took the risk, and you'd have still been in the shithole, wouldn't you? Living with the illegals. Thank you very much indeed, people. I'm over and out.